And at the top of 56, he says the great question, he calls it, the big question. God, what do you think I should do? In my experience, that's the only question that leads to peace and fulfillment, is trying to follow God's will, not your own. So this morning, I had a homily, Nicodemus Club, another homily, and then I got a meeting for the Alpha. You might say, wow, that's a lot today. Last night I was thinking, how am I going to get through this? I got all this stuff to do today. And then there was no altar server. And then I couldn't celebrate priest. What else is getting, and then Gary came to class. All these curveballs.
I've never been out of a curveball before.
But you know, it's funny. It's a little overwhelming sometimes. You think, why me? Why am I in this spot? You know, why can't I just do something else? Because one day I asked God, what do you think I should do?
Because you didn't say no.
And he gave me an answer. You know? It's easy just to go your own way, you know. But boy, when you ask that question, you better be ready, because he's going to answer it. And when you open up to an answer, it will lead you to peace and fulfillment and joy, but not for free. There's a price there, right? You have to give up what you want to do, because he may want you to do something that takes you out of your comfort zone, right? To make you do something you may not really desire. Okay? But in the end, as he says, it will lead to peace. And that's what you gotta believe. You gotta believe that you're gonna be a lot more joyful, a lot more peaceful if you let God direct you than if you are self-directed. Boy, that's hard though, because that really requires faith, it requires trust, and it requires an everyday yes. Not a yes once in a while, but an everyday you wake up and go, you're in charge and I'm not. What's on the agenda today? What do you think I should do? Yeah, Dorothy.
I don't expect you to be able to really advise me or help me on this, but in my prayers, I pray at home a lot, and I talk out loud.
Wonderful.
To the Holy Trinity. And I've been known to yell at them too.
We've talked about that.
Okay.
And I've encouraged you.
And the thing is that I want, I'll just take, it's the situation in Syria. This is very, very difficult for me to handle. And last night's news, they showed footage of people who men, women, and children, babies, who are dying of starvation because the leader of that country, Assad, isn't that who Assad of Syria, he will not let relief trucks
Come to those
in with
people.
the food. But then it said at the very end that he's maybe considering it. Okay, so you know my reason for this. And I have been praying and praying and praying the Holy Trinity that they do something to keep these people, these innocent people, from dying. And they're still dying. And see, I don't expect the Holy Trinity to please me. I'm not praying for myself. I'm praying for others. But they keep dying. And this is very difficult for me, David. That why is God letting these innocent people die when, you know, he could drop a cement block on Assad's head and right then and there, or get somebody else in there to leave.
Right.
Well, you know, you ever think about the possibility that you really are praying for yourself because your spirit is upset by what's happening there, and if it weren't happening, your spirit would be better off.
Well, I didn't
So
think of it
perhaps
that way,
what I'm
Gary.
getting at is perhaps that's what that kind of is the lesson that's trying to be taught. That you have to keep the personal clarity and not let that kind of stuff disturb you. There's got to be something good come out of it. That everybody's thinking it's just we'll do what we can to fix it, but we can't let it upset our relationship. We can't get mad at God for it happening.
Yeah, here's the way I kind of look at those things, and I don't know if this will help you or not. But I always remember God's in charge, so that's number one.
Yeah,
But God's ways are way beyond my ways,
don't understand.
and I don't understand them. And it's because He's infinite, and He's all those omni words, you know, omnipresent and omniscient, omniscient, right? All knowing, all powerful, right? And I'm a finite creature. And when I don't understand something, I do what you do, and I pray. I say, help me understand. You know, please relieve the suffering of others, or this person, or please comfort that person that's suffering, or whatever. But God's purposes are different than mine, and I don't understand them, you know? And so the one thing I always have to come back is, with my 3 questions is, do I believe God is good? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do I believe that God loves me and loves humanity? Yes. And do I believe God is trustworthy? Yes. So even when I don't understand it, I don't say, well, somehow God isn't paying attention. Somehow God isn't so loving or so powerful or so whatever. Because if I start to judge that he's just not kind of performing the way I would like him to perform, then I put myself as his judge. And that's when I'm in trouble. And I know you're not doing that.
No, this is my fault.
Yeah.
See, I mean,
Yeah.
this is where I am at
But you're
fault,
still,
and I'm
yeah.
sorry, but.
Yeah, but you're still asking, and that's good. Yeah, but you're not demanding, you're asking.
Oh,
God, please
please.
help these people. I don't understand why you're not helping them, so please help them. And that's a good thing. And I don't think you're judging God, but if you ever get to that point where you are, you're a lousy God. You better shape up and get with it.
Yep.
And you're not doing that.
No.
Oh, I've done it.
That's all. You can't go there.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus said there will be tribulation in this world.
Absolutely.
Everything's in God's time. But you can pray for souls, for the sick and dying, for
Yeah.
those who have departed. You can pray for their.
And we can pray for the terrorists, and we can pray for Assad. And we can,
God hears those
We're
prayers.
all
back.
God's
Oh, I've prayed for Assad a lot of times, but not like the way you think.
Yeah.
You can pray for
you know, pray for their conversion.
Pray for that concrete block.
Well, that's one way.
You know, like Jesus showed Paul, Jesus blinded Paul and said,
Yeah.
why are you persecuting? You know, you can pray that
I've been that
God
route too.
just-
Why don't you just temporarily
Just-
blind
Right.
these people and
Right.
make them realize something's going on? Don't blind
Right.
them permanently, just temporarily.
If he did that, he would be taking away their will, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of
Yeah.
the
Well, and that's the thing,
Curses
you know,
of it, like-
sometimes God does take away people's will. Sometimes he does intervene, you know. He did with St. Paul, as a wonderful example. He's probably intervening in all sorts of situations that we don't know about. In other words, he prevented from all sorts of things from happening by intervening that we don't know about. But when they do happen, it is, because people are given the choices to do good or to do evil. And our problem sometimes is what we see as evil, another person may see as good. They may see it as Assad liberating or doing something good, where another person sees it as negative. People thought Hitler was doing some good things, I'm
He
sure.
was a final solution to the problem.
You know?
I just wanted to mention, Dorothy, that when that happens to me, I think I always go back to the song Footsteps in the Sand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are 2 sets of footsteps
Uh-huh.
as you go along, God is with you, and then all of a sudden there's only 1 set of footsteps, and that's when He carries you. And I think of that because it gives me peace of mind when I'm in doubt.
He's always with you and he's in
Yeah.
charge. Yeah. And when you need him most, he'll carry you. Yeah. But keep doing what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong. And have those conversations. And I always tell people when God doesn't seem like he's answering your prayer, then pray louder.
But see, I don't.
Because in a real relationship, that's what you do, right? I mean, if you're in a real relationship with someone and you're telling Gary, I've asked you, please put the dishes in the dishwasher. And Gary just puts them by the sink. And the second time, and by the 5th time, you might say, now listen, Gary, I've asked you 4 times. Now respectfully, we need to talk to God some ways, like we're in a real relationship. And that's when you say you get angry, I encourage you, because what you're saying is, I trust you. That's what you're really saying. I trust you're listening. And I want you to know, this is really making me mad. And that's okay. Okay? Because God loves us. He wants us to be real with him.
So do you commit a sin when you do that?
No.
You don't? When you let it go?
Not unless you go past, you cross the line.
Not
and
even a venial sin?
No.
Well,
No, because you trust him. You're always good. What you're doing is you're just pleading. Look at Abraham and look at Moses, what they were doing. If I just could find 10 good men, God, would you destroy the city? Now, don't you think maybe he was shaking his fists going, are you listening to me? Because if I could just find 10 men, couldn't you? He wants passion. He wants us, right, to love him and to be real with him. I mean, look at our marriages and look at our relationships with our kids and our family. Do we ever get upset? You bet.
You
Should we
don't, you don't
upset
get
with God?
this,
Absolutely.
you don't get disappointed with people you don't love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But we have to trust, and that's the one thing I always come back to is God is in charge. So when I say, well, God, if I was in charge, I would stop aside, I would do this, I would do that, and as soon as I do that, I go back to the book of Job, where God clearly puts Job in his place, and he answers Job's plea for why are you, doing all the things you're doing, and he answers Job, and Job, let me explain to you, and then he goes chapter after chapter, putting Job in his place as a creature, and explain you are not me, I'm God, you are a creature. And in the end, Job says, I shut my mouth. You're right. I shouldn't have been asking all these questions. Because Job realizes that God is in charge.
Well, it's not asking questions, it's questioning.
This question is judging. He was kind of, the judging question.
well, many years ago, I talked to a priest, and I don't know whether it was confession anymore, or whether it was just normal problems. I don't remember, it's been that long ago. But I told him that I get upset with God, and I get angry. I said, is that a sin? And he said, no, God loves it.
Yeah.
And I said, why? And he said, because you are thinking about God, you need God, and he wants to hear from you, regardless of what temperament, you're in at the time. So he told me, the priest said, God loves us, so I've been yelling at God ever since.
And whether you're yelling verbally or you're yelling, he knows anyway. He's within you. So if you're mad as heck, and you go, oh God, everything's going well today, you're going, my life sucks.
But
He knows anyway.
I
You're just verbalizing,
I always
right?
feel better about it. I do. I wind up.
What's in Psalm 139? Before a word is ever on my tongue, you know it, Lord. I mean, he knows, It's not like you're telling him something he doesn't know what you're thinking. So he knows. And what he really wants, I think, is a real. He wants something real with us. Just like we want things real with each other.
It's his passion.
Yeah, and he wants us to be truthful to him. Be a truth teller to him. Not someone that hides behind our emotions or fear or whatever.
Yeah, we also live in a fallen world, and we just pray for Christ to come back to the earth.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. But he's in charge of that fallen world.
Yeah.
He lets us be, like Gary says, he lets us have our free will, and we wreak havoc. But okay, let's get back to the text for a minute. So one thing he talks about is this the routine within a routine. He wants us to. He's setting us up to begin to realize that one thing we probably need to do to better know ourselves is to examine ourselves. And one of the famous saints basically said, the unexamined life is not worth living. I can't remember who that was. You might know Gene, a famous poet.
I've heard it.
I think it was a saint. As it says at the top 58, Paul advised to a Christian, let a man examine himself. Okay. And so he says we really need to when we pray, to really do it in a way of examining ourselves. So on page 60 and 61, he begins introducing this prayer process. And I like the way he introduced it, and he's saying, now this is where you should get to, but you don't have to start there. But try to do 10 minutes a day, and even if you only get through gratitude, fine. Then do gratitude and just be done. If you can add awareness in, great. But you don't have to go through 7 to 10 minutes, you may not be able to. But look at how simple it is on 61. Begin by thanking God in a personal dialogue for whatever you're most grateful for. Just one thing. I am most grateful today for
My life.
whatever.
That's my prayer.
Or you can say, I'm most grateful for Jesus, or I'm most grateful for a sunny day. Whatever it is for you, okay? Awareness. Revisit the times in the past 24 hours when you were the best version of yourself. When did I do something really great? And when was I not the best version of myself? Talk to God about these situations and what you learned from them. Yesterday I got to talk to the youngest son of my friend Steve, who died last, and I said, you had an awesome dad. That was the best version of myself at that moment. And then I goofed it up by saying, he's got big shoes to fill, good luck. But I didn't say it quite like that. I said, but he's got big shoes to fill. And I wanted him to think about it. I mean, your dad was awesome, now it's your turn. You're the son, right? Maybe I wasn't the best version of myself. I didn't say good luck, but I said, those are big shoes to fill, because they were talking about his little shoes. He had little baby shoes, and then he showed, his brother was talking about how they have such big shoes to fill, whoever could fill his shoes. And I said, but Alex, you've got big shoes to fill. Your dad was so awesome. So that would be one for me. Okay, significant moments. Identify something you experienced today and explore what God might be trying to say to you through that event. Just one thing. So today I might think, noise isn't all so bad. Gary pointed out, God could be speaking through the noise. That's an event that I experienced. Maybe I need to be paying more attention to the noise. Peace. Ask God to forgive you for any wrong you've committed against yourself or another person or him, and to fill you with a deep and abiding peace. Okay? So ask God for forgiveness for some wrong. Freedom. Speak with God about how he's inviting you to change your life so you can experience the freedom to be the best version of myself. I talked a little bit in the homily this morning about freedom. Speak with God about how he's inviting you to change your life. You know, what can I do more in line with his call? Next, focus on others. Lift up to God anyone you feel called to pray for today, asking God to bless them. So in the first 5, you really focus pretty much on yourself and your relationship with God, but then you add a number 6 in there. Focus on others. A particular person needs your prayers or whatever. And he says, and then just finish by praying a rote prayer to our Father. Now you'll notice that most of us, when we pray, like I said, our Father, Hail Mary, how personal is that? Not very. Six things are very personal. In a personal dialogue. Talk to God about what your awareness, your moments, your peace, your freedom. And then talk about other people, and then a rote prayer. Because he wants us to get out of it being just a rote prayer and be more of a dialogue. Okay? So, Dorothy, your point, the bottom of 61, it's easy to fall in trap of merely thinking about these things. When you find yourself doing that, return to actually speaking with God about whatever it is you're thinking. The goal is to develop the ability to have intimate conversations with God, not just thoughts, but a verbal and a quiet, okay, a dialogue. Okay? And he said the more you do it, the more they spill over the moments in our daily lives. And that was one thing I wanted to mention is, many times we don't bother God with the little things, we're focused on the big things, but people that develop their prayer lives really do have a dialogue even about the little things. And so challenge yourself to say, even if it's the little thing, get God involved. Because that's how we really get the depth of that relationship. Even the little things. Okay? All right. So, let me see. So he says 2 kind of important things that I underline in 62 and 63. The one is at the end of the second paragraph, about 10, 12 lines down from the bottom of 62. Nothing will change your life more meaningfully than developing a vibrant and sustainable prayer life. And then at the right end, 63, that's the first full paragraph. The goal of the prayer process is to trigger a regular and meaningful conversation with God. And for some of us, like you, Dorothy, it can be like all day. That's great. For some of us, it may be a few times a day, or maybe once a day. But the more you're in that conversation, the better. Okay. Then he talks on the negative side, prayerlessness, the curse of our age. And I won't go into a lot of detail on that, but what he's really challenging you to do is to be a person of prayer in your family, and he calls the person a prayer giant. Someone that kind of prays for the family. And if your family's like mine, our families need lots of prayers, because we've got a lot of people that don't have the relationship with God that they should have. We're not judging them, we just have to pray for them and say, please help this person to come back to church and have a relationship. Please help that person have a deeper relationship. Please have that person not be so angry. Or whatever. I mean, there's all these people, if we just go through our family and our friends, we know there's a lot of people that have lots and lots and lots of need. And they're not looking in the right place. They're not looking to God. And we have to help them move closer to God so they can get some consolation and some peace. I mean, I'm sure you have persons in your family that have suffered through some, illness or loss or divorce or estrangement or whatever, that are really hurting, and they really need us to pray them, closer to God. So he really challenges us to do pray, to be prayer giants in our families, and as he says, in our parishes, in our churches, and so on. So that's his kind of challenge in our own, because most people aren't praying. So we have to have prayer giants. My mom was my prayer giant. She was praying for me all the time, and she would always tell me. And that's one thing that always gave me comfort is, well, even if I wasn't doing so well, Mom was praying for me. And we should tell people that we're praying for them. Maybe make us a little uncomfortable the first time. You have to tell them, I'm praying for you, you slug, you worthless piece of pond scum. We don't have to do it like that. We can just say, I love you, and I know you're struggling right now, and I'm praying for you every day. Just knowing that makes a huge difference, because it speaks to them of how much you love them, but it also speaks to them of what you see as the solution. And they need to hear that God is the answer. So where they're not looking in that place. And when they realize someone's praying for them, they go, oh yeah, I forgot about God there. It triggers that little thought in their head that maybe I'm ignoring that that's where I should be going to. You know, so always keep that. And be honest with them and just tell them we're praying for you. And you don't have to tell them why. Just tell them that you are, and it makes a huge difference for them. Don't have to judge them or anything. And then the last line is great, on 69. One of the great moments in the life of a Christian comes when we realize once and for all, a life with prayer is better than a life without. Without prayer. And when we're immature, prayer can be a drudgery. Prayer can be an obligation. Prayer can be one more thing I got to check off today. And when Father Ray Richards did the men's conference, he said, prayer is the single most important thing we do. And I thought to myself, I wish I would have known that when I was younger. Because I struggled without praying. And then once I started praying, I realized, I'm not in charge. God is. And if I want to affect change, He's the one that's going to make it happen, not me. And it starts with your own life. It's your own change, your own relationships, the people you love and stuff like that. He's the one that can make it happen. One of the great dangers, especially of being a deacon or being someone that has faith, is to want to make it happen for someone else. And you take charge of them and say, I'm going to help them get to heaven. Great. But you're not in charge of them. God is. So the way to get them to heaven is to help, to be an assist person, not the goal scorer. You nudge, you gently move them, you guide them, you pray for them. But you don't drag them, You will be a good Catholic, Gary, if I take you to church. Kind of thing, right? That's not going to happen. That's not going to make it work. So it's that delicate, very gentle, prayerful, peaceful kind of consoling way that people can go about it with love that really makes it happen. And then they don't own it. They realize they're God's instrument, and that God owns it. God's that person's God, not me. Right? That's a huge difference. So if your kids and your spouse and you're not responsible, God is. Okay? But what you can do is give God an assist. He's going to make it happen. You can help him. But don't feel like you fail if the person doesn't get where you need him to go, because God's in charge. And it's very liberating to me to help someone knowing I can be an assist, but they're making their choices. And God's involved. And He's got to make it happen for them. I can't force it. And then it's very liberating to do the right thing and not feel like it's my failure if my child doesn't go to Mass, or it's my failure if my child gets divorced, or it's my failure, because it's not, right? It's their life, God's in charge. One of the things that someone told me, which was very interesting, he says, I really had a hard time being a dad until someone told me one day they weren't my children, they were God's children. He kind of didn't realize that. See, that's when you're going too far, when you think you're responsible for them alone. God's in charge. We're there to help. God's in charge. Okay. Thoughts on that? Does that ring true? Cool. Okay. That'd be helpful to you. It was helpful to that one gentleman. That was a turning point in his relationship with his kids. That he was so forcing them. you will be good, you will go to heaven, you will go to church, you will, you know. He's trying to do the right thing. And what was he doing while he was doing that?
Taking away the free will.
Yeah, forcing. Yeah, that doesn't get anywhere.
David, one of the things that I said, I came up just talking to someone, and the more I thought about it, the more I think it is true. That being loved brings with it a burden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you know someone or God
Yeah.
loves you, it's, it's like I tell people about the way Bernadette treats me. She has never demanded anything from me,
Mm-hmm.
but she does so many things for me, I feel like a creep if I don't do anything she wants.
Okay.
And I think that's the kind of thing I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And if you tell people you're praying for them, tell them you love them,
Yeah.
you kind of wonder, gee, I can't let them down.
It evokes a response.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Because they know it's freely given. Yeah. And they're challenged. Yeah, how many of us did not want to disappoint our parents because they loved us, or didn't want to disappoint someone who cared for us?
And we shouldn't disappoint God.
Yeah, right. They're worthy of a better response.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's the way we're looking at
Can we close with a prayer?
it. We do, because I have to get over to Mass without making the announcement
Okay.
for the Alpha, which I know many of you are already doing lots of things. I just want to present this. If you don't know much about it, please consider it. It's going to be a wonderful program, and I'm going to learn from Deacon David Lucheon how to do it. So, yeah, let's just close in prayer, and I'll offer you a blessing, and then I'll see you next month
Okay.
for the second one, which is study,
Right.
right?
No, I think it's,
Pretty sure it's study.
Well,
I'm
that's
sure.
doing study.
I'm not-
a study on Larry.
I'll have to study that and find out.
It's study.
Yay! See?
You were right.
I didn't even have to look. That's good. God love you. The Holy Spirit's leading today. That's good. There the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let's give glory to the Trinity. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son,
and to the Holy Spirit,
as it was in the beginning,
is now, and ever shall be, world without end.
Amen. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
You may go in peace, and I'm going to run over to the church.